Good afternoon. Welcome to your weekly favorite current affairs program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. My name is Egosa now. Whenever this program is just about commencing and you see the opening montage and you see the politicians, the members of the various political parties, representatives of various political parties at the National Assembly, sometimes State Assembly, you see the fracas, the fight. There's a question that always comes to mind. What are they fighting for? Are they fighting for the masses? Are they fighting for the voters? Or are they fighting for themselves? Well, that is just similar to the topic that we have today. We're looking at voters and defectors. Don't forget, the Edo 2024 governorship election is fast approaching. September precisely, we'll be having an election. It is an off-cycle election to be conducted by INEC. Now, why politicking is on, why the various political parties are campaigning, we've been seeing gale of defections. We've been seeing prominent politicians defecting from one political party, either from the ruling party in Edo State to the opposition party, or from the opposition party to the ruling party, or some defecting to other political parties. And these defections are showcased just to let the voters know the strength of the parties that will be involved in Edo 2024 election. Well, my panel of analysts today are very, very competent and eminent personalities who will be dissecting and, of course, creating the background, the platform for our voters to launch. They need to be well informed. Let me start by introducing Sir Humphrey Best Iriabe. He is the Director of Ecumenism and Interfaith of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Edo State Chapter. Nice to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
We also have with us a very regular, seasoned analyst, a statistician, a lecturer, and head of department. We're talking about Dr. Maxwell Osage. Nice to have you with us today.
Thank you.
The voters will be getting to hear statistics today of those of how they should vote. You know, we expect to hear that today. Well, also with us a very regular analyst as well, a seasoned analyst, a clergyman, and I don't want to call him, he's not a politician, but he knows the political terrain very well. Dr. Emeka Ekuga, nice to have you with us.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes. We've seen that most clergymen are campaigning now that Christians, people of various faiths, should be involved in politics. It's not only people who are not men or women of faith that should be involved in politics. Well, that is a discussion for another day.
You're welcome.
Let's just get started with Sir Best Iriabe.
Yeah.
Now, looking at what is happening, whenever there's an election, or what we say an election year, just like in Edo, you see people defecting, cross-carpeting, moving from one political party to another. Is this good for democracy?
Thank you very much. Okay. First of all, let us look at the reason why people may want to defect.
Okay.
And then look at it if that reason is consistent with the political gladiators of our time,
yes,
either in Edo State or in the country at large. Where somebody may be dissatisfied with the goings on in his party. He may want to have something he wants to bring to the table to add value to what is already there. And if he's not getting the ears of the people and people are not changing, they want things to be as it was in the beginning, the person may not be too happy. He may say, well, if that is the case, let me find a place where probably they will listen to me. If there is a widespread corruption, perhaps, in the political party and somebody feel that he was not able to effect a change, perhaps he may want to look for another place to go. On the other side, there are people who want to occupy offices by hook or by crook. People who have inordinate ambition to be either a governor, head of local government chairman, whatever. And so for that ambition to be achieved, If it cannot get it here, it goes to another political party. Then, of course, you have others who I would describe as food is ready politicians. I would like to elucidate on that maybe in the course of this program. Food is ready politicians.
Yes.
And of course, I must tell you, without fear of contradiction, that 80% of the Nigerian politicians are food is ready politicians.
How
food
do you mean?
Yeah, when the food is ready, you
Yes.
see, the reason for going to politics is purely pecuniary, money.
Are you
Because
talking
it's
about
an industry.
stomach infrastructure?
Yes, stomach infrastructure, if you like.
Okay.
Pecuniary reason. The reason why people, one of the major industry today in Nigeria is political industry. That's the quickest way now. People can make lazy money, lousy money, and use the way they want. So they want to go into politics for principally to make money. That's the reason why they are there. And if they are in a political party and this money is not coming, then they can easily move to the other political party where they think they will get patronage. You see, if you look at sometime in the distant past, you have the MP, the PDP was in control.
Yes.
After some time, you saw people from the other political party defecting en masse to the PDP because they were the ones in power. And so everybody believed that you must belong to the party in power. So they started decamping. And then we are seeing it again in this dispensation. And when the pendulum has changed, the pendulum swung to APC, and that is where the food is now. So everybody wants to go to the party where it's happening.
But APC is at the national.
It's at the national, of course, yes.
Okay.
You can see the gale of defection even at that level. You understand? Why is this happening? Why do we have food is ready politicians? Because the political parties we have are bereft of ideologies. There's no ideology. You don't have political ideologues in the country. The people you have are people who go into politics for pecuniary reasons, for stomach infrastructure. And so that is the reason why. So now when you look at the political parties who are holding sway at the firmament of political in Nigeria, what is the ideology? No, I'm not the politician, but we are political, we are analysts, public affairs analysts. Yes. We belong to the country. What is the ideology of PDP? What is that of APC? That distinguish both of them, for instance, or NNPC? Nothing. Now, in the distant past, you used to have what we call UPN. And if you say UPN, what comes to your mind is that, oh, these people, they have a knack for education. They have a knack to wipe away ignorance. People must go to school and all that. If you mention MPN, you also you know what they stand for. Yeah. But can anybody tell me what each of these parties stands for? For instance, if I belong to a political party and I have something to offer, why must I go away to another political party? I must be there to weather the storm. One day they will hear from them. I can name some politicians, even in Edo State or in Nigeria at large, who have been their political party for a long time. They didn't leave. But 80% of the people you find today, they are moving from place to place. Now, what has made it worse is this. You have seen politicians in Edo State. Yesterday, they were PDP. They moved to APC. When there was no much food where they went to, they came back to the same PDP again. When they didn't see food again, they moved back to where they came from. And when you ask them, why are you going back and forth? They say, oh, where I am now is my home. You know, I was one of those who founded this party. I've come back home. You see the confusion that exists. Because people are in politics not to work for the common good, but for their own private good. So voters must shine their eyes very well and look for somebody who has something to bring to the table, a cerebral individual, an over-baked personality, who knows what his people need, somebody who has a pedigree. If you ask this person, what secondary school did he attend, you will know. Who was he when he was there? What university did he attend? Who was he when he went to the university? In his working career, what did he do? What is he bringing to the table? Not somebody who just wake up from the blues and say, I'm the person, and then you go and put some cups of rice in a paper bag and begin to distribute. Or all of a sudden, you go and somebody go and print some exercise book and put his picture and begin to divide it to secondary school, to schools. Those are the kind of people we are seeing. So the voters themselves must be so enlightened to look. This you don't razzmatazz me because of your exercise book and the bag of 12 cups of rice that you put in a paper bag for people. And it's an insult. We must look out for somebody who has the wherewithal, both spiritually, morally, academically, and otherwise.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Bestirabe. Well, we have Dr. Maxwell Osagi. I told you he deals with statistics.
Okay.
Dr. Maxwell, now your opening remarks. We've seen defections, we've seen very prominent politicians moving from one party to another, you know, cross-carpeting and all of that. Does this all go well for Edo 2024? Let me narrow it down because we're having elections in September this year.
Okay, good afternoon, viewers. Does it tell well on the state of Edo State politics?
Okay.
There's nobody you're going to ask that will say it actually speaks volume.
Okay.
In a more positive manner. I can't pour a comment on that particular narrative.
Okay.
Sir has said it all. In a system where you have people defecting from A to Z, Z to etc., it's born out of the fact that this is actually how the political class wants it to be.
Okay.
Aside just saying that political parties don't have ideology, the leadership of each political party actually has been seen over the years to be self-centered. And when you look at the figure of those that actually call the shot in a party, is actually less than 1% of the total number of the political class.
Okay.
And as a result, because the general populace, directly referring to those that are card-carrying members in that political party, is known to be problem-oriented when it comes to finance. Then everybody dance to the tune of the highest bidder. Now, if I may have to mention the Idahosa defection, which is also is a prominent politician, I just left PDP now, has moved to APC. The fact is that there are people that we know. Take it or you leave it. And when you hear that they are defeated, it doesn't really, it's not just because of the masses. Take it or you leave it. It's basically on their pocket and pocket alone. Now, but who is the greatest problem here, if we may look at it? It's still the voters. Because at the end of the day, these same people that we are talking about, who doesn't really have some sensibility to their name or some kind of ego to their name to maintain what we call a statutory order as being played by sisters country, how our politics is naturally played. We still see some persons who are pro. You say pro, maybe if I may have to use the Idahosa, pro Idahosa, because he has his own people that he feed. You listen to this man yesterday, Udome, the chief whip of the Senate. He made it clear he doesn't support death penalty for politicians who loot. The reason being that their kind of looting is sharing to the people. So probably the man who went to steal one goat or one chicken at the backyard that who is serving right now 6 months or 1 year or 3 years in jail did not go to steal that fowl to eat and survive his stomach. So this is kind of politicians that we have in modern Nigeria, where they try to narrow the thing in such a way that it favors them, no matter who else is God. So, but the end product of what we are trying to say in all these things, does it augur well for our political era? No. Does it stand well for moving the nation forward in terms of our electioneering engineering? No. Does he really help the people? No. Does he help them? Yes. It's basically their pocket. So if anybody as a voter and you sue people who defected today from a particular governorship aspirant was constantly defecting here and there, and the people saw it and said, we are no longer comfortable with all this kind of situation. And the best way they could say is that let's stick with what we know, not this one that will be here today, the other one tomorrow. I think it's high time for the voters to say, enough is enough for all this, what I call atrocities.
Thank you very much, Dr. Manson. Let's get the opening remarks of Dr. Becca Ekuga. Yes, looking at Edo 2024 and these defections, and what do you think voters should, do you think the defection will have effect on the voters or voting?
Well, I think my honorable doctor and my big guy here have said so much.
Okay.
Really, it's not a business of voters. When they talk about politicians defecting from one political party to another party, it's a matter of individual. You decide. And like they really said, earlier I was not so comfortable when you see a particular politician leaving a particular party to another party today. Tomorrow jump bank again. You needed a ticket here today to become a governor without aims, without objectives. All he wanted is that he wanted to be a governor, or you want to be a member of a house of Senate or reps or assembly, whichever. And if the ticket was not given to you, you grow angry and you jumped to the other political party, thinking when you get to there, they will hail you and give you ticket. Some do it. White some, we said, no, you just came in to join us. It does not really have much effect on
just came in to join us,
yes,
so you must queue.
You must queue.
You must join the queue.
Yes. Why some, if they go, they buy their way,
yes,
in. Because, in politics today is also on how much you have. Why some, they are being accepted because perhaps you've gotten so much followers. And when you have so much followers, election is a game of numbers. Winning election is a game of numbers. And when those who are your followers follow you to a particular political party, it's like there is a little weight in that political party. So they will give room for whomever that is kind of being relevant to join that political party in agreement. Because before this issue of defection, there has been a consultation. And Mr. Chuks, we said to the party leaders, look, I am coming back, and I have these two, add to whatever that will give a winning wins to the
candidate of the party.
To the candidate of the party. And by the time I am back, and I'm coming with this, I assure you, my jurisdiction, that is unit, local government or whatever, will be delivered to you. So they will come into agreement, okay, if you know this is what is going to be done, we assure you, you are going to become this, you are going to become that. And you see how they will now, you see that is one of the reasons they leave where they are before to go to where they wish to be now. But at the same time, Archbishop Benson Idahosa made a statement in the years past of blessed memory, in quote, if the church cannot change you, you change the church. It was not saying you should leave the church to another church, but rather stay there and effect change in that very church. If really you have what it takes to make things okay with genuine mind, what stops you from staying there and they force in your good ideas? Before you try it first, second, third, I think the fourth time they will listen to you. Especially when you are now a grassroots member of that political party. I don't see how they can chase you away very easily. You don't just become angry because your party said they can't give you ticket. Because that is one of the reasons why you see this cross-carpeting in these political parties. Once you have a little misunderstanding with your political party, the leaders and what have you, or the power that be, you grow angry. You run to another political party. It's really not telling well in our politics today, especially in this nation, Nigeria, especially this our part. It's not really telling well. I've seen those who jump out from the first, second, third political parties, they went to a fresh political party. And those who have a good intention, they have the support of the masses. Those who have, I can use Abia State as an example.
Okay.
Oti and Labour Party that won governorship election. Labour Party was not where. You can't mention Labour Party in Nigeria. They are the minority when it comes to area of population and the, structure in quote. But he left PDP, APUGA, APC, and just to mention few, and went to Labour Party. And of course, during that election, there was this movement. As long as Labour Party is concerned,
yes,
there was this great movement. And he won election there. And apart from winning the election in Labour Party, there is no representative much of Labour Party in the national. He's doing marvelously well. And the masses there, the voters there are happy. They voted him in. His defection has
value,
a purpose.
has value to Labour Party.
Yes, it has value and it has good purpose. But to so many, especially in this our area, like my great honorable Zias have said, the interest mostly among these political runners are stomach infrastructure. My Oga used another word, but I put it where you have food for free.
Yes.
Because when they are there and you do gra, you have to be settled. You have to be settled. You grab that one, you put it in the pocket. And they have helped in making you a little bit relevant, not knowing that they are also destroying the future of politics. And tomorrow when you do gra, went to another one, they accept you. They accept you. And maybe you've been able to also, those who also have structures, fall into these categories too, because there are some politicians that have structures. They have what it takes to gather men. They have what it takes to do a proper politicking. And then when you come in and there is a little misunderstanding, they threaten you. And you see the other party will say, if he comes, he is going to be a good, or she's going to be a very good value. And they will say, come, let's go into agreement. But whether we like it or yes, cross-carpeting is part of politicking. It's part of politicking. Whether you believe it's of a good choice, a good interest or not. Cross-carpeting is a part of politicking in Nigeria. Because if I stand up tomorrow and said I'm leaving APC to PDP, I'm leaving PDP to APC, I think those who know me will say, yes, this man has what it takes to improve this particular party. Let's welcome him. And they will begin to look for me. Now let's come, let's discuss, let's agree. But those who know what they are doing, when you come, you want to run down to this one, they will say, where were you? And where you were before? What effects have you made in that area? So stay where you are. Like what plays in the other way around a few months and weeks ago, where somebody wanted to run down to this place. A man who said, if you come over to our party, all your sins are forgiven. The same man said, this one you are not worthy. You can't come here. There is no chance for you here. Yes. So I think anything pertaining cross-carpeting in political parties and individuals is part of politicking.
Okay, thank you very much. The program is 60 Minutes Nigeria. My guests have made very, very valuable comments regarding the voters, the role of voters, and of course, defectors. Dr. Meka Ekuga has just said that defection is part of the political system in Nigeria because it's commonplace, especially in an election year. You see a lot of strategies. Political parties strategize they get some prominent individuals who can attract followership to their party. Well, my other guest said, well, this issue of defection gives credence to the fact that some politicians are just self-serving. They are just fighting for themselves. They are interested in their own welfare and what they can get. Well, we'll talk more, but that will be after this break. Okay, it's always a delight to have you on the program, especially those spending their 60 minutes with us and those just joining us, spending part of their 60 minutes with us. We are glad to have you on the program. We are looking at the role of voters and defectors, especially as we prepare for Edo 2024 governorship election. Let me inform our viewer that we have two off-cycle elections. We have off-cycle election to be conducted by INEC in Edo in September. We also have off-cycle election in Ondo State. So, but today, we are focusing on the conduct of the election in Edo State. And we've talked about defection. We talked about what voters should look out for. Now, let's actually dissect more. Edo 2024. Will defection determine the outcome of election? We'll just start with Sir Best Iriabe.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
I think the scripture says that my people perish for lack of knowledge.
Yes.
I think there's voter education in this part of the world is not just there. The followership themselves have not become people who just what they call follow. That's who they are. Where there's money, they follow. Voters are not so educated to the extent that, look, this is what is expected of a political party, of a governor, of a politician when it mounts the saddle of leadership. And this expectation, like working for the common good, yes, building good roads, ensure that there's education, the country is sound and all that. The voters, the followership, they're all looking at that. That's why to ordinary face cap and T-shirt can sway a voter in Edo State to go and vote for somebody. Say, let me get just T-shirt or 1,000 naira, which is very, very wrong. You see, let us look at a fundamental question. We have a country, but we don't have a nation. We have political associations, but we don't have political parties. If we were to have political parties, like my brother was saying, somebody will stay in his political party and ensure that things work well. People do not know that it is not compulsory that you must win an election. And that if you don't win, and that if you are in opposition, that you have a love to give to the country, to your state. If somebody is in opposition, what it does is to ensure that there's constructive engagement, constructive criticism. I remember the likes of Obafemi Awolowo versus Shagari. Awolowo will criticize you and then prefer a solution. Because we all believe in one Nigeria, but we don't believe in one Nigeria anymore. If we were to know, for instance, those states is coming now, where the election is drawing near, If we all belong to Edo State, if we believe that we are from Edo State, whether you win today or you lose today does not matter to you. Whatever may happen, say, God, I thank you. But even if I'm in opposition, I still have a lot to offer.
Nigerian politicians don't see that way.
So we don't think along those lines.
Yes.
The moment you lose an election, what you want to do is to pull him down. The one who succeeded, you will do everything within your power to pull the person down. Because we don't have enough education to tell you to the extent that, look, we are all the same people. We are all one. If I'm in opposition and I give good advice to the one who is leading today, and that if he use that advice, it will rub off on me. Therefore, yes, there will be cross-carpeting. Okay. But it's the negative. We should not be known for what is negative. It's just like when you say African time. It has become a norm. Yeah. Does that mean it's something you are proud about, that there's African time? If cross-carpeting has become the norm in Nigeria, is it something we are going to be proud about or proud of? Certainly we're not going to be proud of that. So we must tell the followership, the voters, look at the people. If you see somebody running from pillar to post, back and forth, know that that person is not a serious individual. And that you are not going to give such a person your vote. Because if you study the situation critically, you are going to discover that A or Z, somebody from Makoko Edo, somebody from Esako, somebody from Edo Central, somebody from Edo South, we have the same human beings. Yeah. We are brothers and sisters. If you don't win today, you may win tomorrow. Yeah. It's not a do or die that I must win today, and if I don't win, therefore, hell will let loose. That is the kind of politics we are playing in Nigeria. No. If you have the Republicans and the Democrats in America, it's the pendulum will be swinging. Tomorrow it may be the Republicans, yeah, and everybody will follow them. The other time it may be the Democrats, everybody will also follow. But that's not what we do in Nigeria, because it's a place where ethnicity has eaten us up. Ethnicity. We don't have a country. We have a country, but we don't have a nation. We have a state. The political party we have is an agglomeration of like minds. It's an association. It's not a party. That's why you can see that they cannot sit down together to craft something that will be identical to them, that you can identify any of the political parties with. That I'm here in this political party to ensure that, for instance, if we are suing for education, if we are suing for robust fiscal policies, I want to be here to begin to weather the storm. One day they will hear me. It's not about jumping in and out of your political parties. You must stay to build your own political party. You remember Chief Odigi Oyegu was saying when Buhari, he was the national chairman of APC when Buhari won that election. And there was a gale of defection. Everybody will come. I remember Chief Odigi Oyegu on national television said, look, don't begin to flood the APC again. Stay in your place. Build up your political party. Yes. Build it up. You may win tomorrow. Don't just, that's why I use the word food ready politicians. Yes. Wherever there is food, that's where they want to go to. We have not seen people who will stay, like people like Chief Obafemi Awolowo, people like the revered Nelson Mandela, who came in from prison and went straight to his own party, the ANC. You have people like dogged politicians. We don't have them here. We don't have such dogged politicians. They are very few. So that's what we are suing for. So every voter, I'm suggesting here right away, we're not giving up on Nigeria. There's always a tomorrow. But I want to ask those people who are crafting educational curriculum in our nation to bring back civic education, right from the kindergarten, primary, and the tertiary. Let's begin to teach people things about the nation. Civic education, voting rights. Let's vote for somebody who is upright, not somebody who is flamboyant, a lover of money. Rather than vote for a lover of money, let us vote for a user of money, who will use money that have been put, that is superintending on behalf of the people, who are going to use it for the common good of the people. Now, there's one big problem. Because we don't have a political ideology, we have a country, we don't have a nation. That's why you see development is not actually seen the way it ought to be. There's what we call the principle of solidarity and subsidiarity. I will explain this. The principle of subsidiarity. For instance, what the federal government can do, let the state government not do it. What the local government can do, let the state government not do it. Everybody should stay on their lane. For instance, why must federal government come and build a road in Benin City? They don't live here, they are in Abuja. Give it to the state. Why should the state be talking about primary education when you have local government? So the principle of subsidiarity is non-existent. Unless we go back to it, that's the confusion. Federal government is talking about road. The state government, they talk about the same road. Local government, they are even telling to also tar roads. There's confusion all over the place because we don't have clear-cut ideology, the way we run our political system in Nigeria.
Okay.
So everything has become negativity. Cross-carpeting is now known to us is the norm. Africa time is the norm. These are negativity we must run away from. So please, voters, I encourage you, do not vote for food. The food will finish. If somebody gives you a bag of rice, it will finish in less than 1 month. Vote for uprightness. Vote for those who want to enunciate policies that will affect this generation and the generation yet to come. If we learn to do this, it will be well with Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Dr. Maxwell, now, defection. Do you think it will play any role in determining the outcome of Edo 2024?
Yes, indeed, it will.
Okay, how? How do you mean?
Just like we've tried to portray before now.
Okay.
Election is all about numbers.
Yes.
And you must know in every election, the undecided voters are more in number. So now these undecided voters are looking for one or two things that may likely just come up, or one or two persons that can actually just sway them to that particular angle, and they just dive into it. So take it or you leave it, in all ramification. The undecided voters are in numbers. They are like, the undecided voters are like 80% in all circle elections. So by the time these people sit down, you know, words are powerful. Words are powerful. By this word was created. By this same word, things do happen. So now, what you see by that defecting spirit is that he goes into the heart of people and try to change their mental understanding about that particular thing. So be that as it may, so when they see the conglomerate, or let me not use that word, when they see the who and who in a particular place, because people just want to belong to where things are happening. Not really because they want to, but because they want to associate themselves with where something is happening. It will say, let it not be heard or let it not be said that I was not part of it. So as a result, they sway themselves into that particular angle. So by the time you see, you wake up today, take it or you leave it. If Chief Exama make a statement today, I said, I'm a member of so-so party. Half of the workers will say, hey, you don't say, nah, here they will follow. Let me just follow.
To surprise you, he doesn't do that.
No, he doesn't. He's a liberal man. We know him very liberal. That's why I didn't mention any party. But I've tried to, based on the people who believe in him, the people who trust him, the people who followed him. Take it or you leave it. When such is made, definitely you are going to have some number of persons, these undecided voters, to say, for this man to have said, let me do this, let me also show. But the point I'm trying to make, we are looking at two topics here, voters and the defectors. I think we focus much more on the defectors, though he tried to portray the fact that the quality required for one assuming a position should be the utmost priority by the voters when it was emphasizing it just now. But be that as it may, what actually, I think the key thing we need to look into, what are actually the attributes that engineer or that orchestrate or that prepare people to say, I do not want to belong to this party, I want to move to this party. So it's not just ideology per se, not to also say by money. You know, I said something that people just want to belong to where things are happening. He made mention about Odigio Oyegu just now. Now, the end product of that is this. If we look at this thing critically, the people who are actually saddled with responsibility to cater for the functionality of the party run it as a family business. Now, you cannot take anything, you can take every other thing away from a man. But that pride, these same people who are defecting might not be defecting as a result of money, but as a result of the way, the way I have been treated, the way they've not allowed internal mechanism of the party to actually function. Somebody, because he decides the check, he runs the political party as a personal property. So when you have that kind of situation, certainly somebody who, people like me who hate slavery, who hates oppression, who hates intimidation, who hates that, I can drink Gary for 20 days and be satisfied rather than you oppressing me and you are giving me rice and stew. I wouldn't take it because that is my person. So I rather just stay on my lane based on the principle to which I believe that I don't want to be oppressed. And somebody shouldn't be running a political party as if it's a personal property. As I speak to you, the 36 state governors in this country run a political party as a personal property. So if any man who knows his right, any man who doesn't want to be seen as a mere player, will definitely stand his right and say, I cannot take this any longer. This is not normal. Is it
because these governors are leaders of the parties?
Yes, that is where we have problem. I think, you see why I said we need to come back to the root. We need to come back to the root. This is where we have problem. Yeah. The problem is this. There is a big problem about Nigeria Constitution in all ramifications. Not just the 1999 Constitution, but the Constitution of all these political parties have given room to one person to run the affairs of everything as if is a personal thing. Chief Executive Officer. Now, by the time you start running a public sector as a private sector, there is bound to be an agitation that will make people not to stay. No matter the ideology, no matter the well-being of that political party. So if you begin to run it as a sole proprietorship business, where people input don't matter, where people idea doesn't really matter because you determine the pay and everything. I think we need to come back to the drawing board to say this is not the order. Party constitution should be well drafted. The reason why you see, how many times have you heard that you now heard that the president of a particular country is not determining how the political party function? Have you heard since Biden has been in position now that all the political party and everything, this is how it is determining who occupy this position, who does he occupy this position, and etc. A governor sit down in his office. He picks a paper. He tells you who is going to be the party chairman. He tells you who is going to be the publicity secretary. He tells you who is going to be that. Now, by the time it's a party that we all form together, and one person is not deciding what happened and what don't happen, what do you expect from the rest? People like me wouldn't take it because I can't stand it. Because you decide the money. If I have to drink Gary in my house and maintain my statutory order. If you leave for another
party, you meet the same.
This is, that's why I said there is a general problem. Yes. It's generic. It's not a single problem. So all the parties we have in this country, whether, you see, they wait for president to cut the shot. If President Tinubu has made a statement that Ganduje, by the reason of what the pronunciation of the word by suspending him, that he stands. I guess you and I know by now he will not be the national chairman. Yes. But because each of these leaders run the party as a personal property, that's why you see mess everywhere. Law and order does not strike. Law and order does not really work. Because one person decides the affair, he is the law. He's the one that decides the pay. He's the one that decides the position. So definitely this will continue. I will continue to impart on our electionary processes because everybody will want to go to where they want to be heard, where they can exercise their function, where they can exercise their right in a more predominant form.
Let me add something. Yeah, I know you are going to ask me a question, but yes, let me add something to what he has just said now. The reason why you see these governors running their affairs of the party as personal property is because they fund the party in quotes. A chairman of a political party will not be able to leave off house to an office when there is no money. The governor owns and has the right to say so amount is allocated to this secretariat. Days are gone when you see political party founders contribute money and says, let this party be maintained. Payment of the secretariat, the staffs, and all of you. It is the government that funds it now. Or one that has enough, who has been in government, those in opposition. Once you see somebody who, I remember some time ago, I think during the PDP in opposition years, you see a governor who almost single-handedly funding the political party. And he rises up tomorrow and said, this is what must be done. Nobody argues it. Yeah. And this will bring me in the area of role of voters. The problem in Nigeria, generally, whether in federal or in state or in local government, why you see the voters behave the way they behave is because the government on ground have enslaved the people.
Seriously.
The people are languishing in poverty, abject poverty. So because they have removed food where it ought to be, when it comes to election, 1 billion naira can be voted for palliative. And when it is voted, some personalities are called, or some individuals, not personalities here now, individuals of same mind are called to manage it. And you will see where 10 kg rice is being distributed. And when it is being given in the name of the, is it the poor of the poorer?
The poor of the poorest.
Yes, poor of the poorest. And I wouldn't know the statistics.
Poor among the poorest.
Yes, maybe doctor will be able to tell us who in this Nigeria that is poor of the poorest, whereby 10 kg rice will be given to, and it will sustain him, the wife, maybe 3-4 children for the next 1 month, 10 kg. And you know, as the moment that 10 kg or whatever that is being, he said about 6 or 12 cups of rice put in a bag, and the picture is drawn, is being pushed to the community. You see everybody. Sometimes you get stampede. Stampede.
Yes, people rush, stepping on others, just to get the packs.
Because there is no food. Poverty is smelling. This issue of poverty everywhere, it's not that you and I cannot labor to eat. It's because the power that be take it too high. So that when it comes to election like this, they will use this enslaved spirit. And you see everybody, when you give me 1 bag and the other one bring 10 kg, I think I should believe that you that give me 1 bag is better off. Because 1 bag will last for a month. 10 kg will last for only 1 week, depending on how many you are in the house. I don't know if you understand. Right. So you now see the voters begin to swing into that direction. I've said it here time without number, sir. Years back, when it comes to election of all kinds, that people should be mindful of what they do during election. You collect 5,000 naira and you check the voters. How many voters do we have? And then you see a political party, now political party in quote, projecting their candidate wherever the money comes from. whether you borrow from bank or here or there, you bring all these things, and people queue on the line, struggle themselves, want to kill each other to collect 5,000.
On that
4
note,
years.
On that note, I would thank you, Dr. Emeka, because I know the program is very interesting. We have a lot to say, but just a quick one, just one word, Sabesi Rabi, your closing remarks.
Yes, you see, the topic is a very wide one.
Yes.
And if we want to talk, you know, on the fundamental issues
Yes.
that is bedeviling Nigeria, including Edo State, we have to now go back to 1914 and interrogate what happened that year. But we don't have time to say all of those.
Yes.
But what I like to say here is this. You see, there is a parable in Benin. Don't know how to decode it. Say, Asure,
Yes,
you
part of what I said just
no
now,
matter
I'd rather
what,
drink
no
Gary.
matter what you do, that's what we're taught.
Yes.
Stay on your lane. Don't look at the other person. But all that is gone.
Yeah.
What is abnormal has become the norm. That's the problem. And the moral, it brings us to the moral question. Moral lessons, they are no longer being taught in schools and all that. If I had my way, I would have said that once in a while, you take children from secondary, tertiary, you know, on one occasion, maybe once in a month or once in a term, you take them to go and visit the mortuary.
Thank you, sir.
To see human beings.
So that they will know,
they will know that
nothing will go
exactly.
Quick one, Dr. Master, just one
But
word.
I want to say that
Yes.
to stop this nonsense thing that has become our lifestyle,
Yes.
we must fall back to constitution. Governors or presidents shouldn't be seen as though funding a political party. There should be a law that states that just like you get allocation from, because the money that they say they are using to fund the political party are actually our money.
Okay.
So it's best
Dr.
known
Maxwell?
that you make it a constitutional matter, that every month, so amount of money go to different political
Thank you
parties
very
as
much.
registered.
Thank you. Dr. Emeka, you spoke exhaustively. So,
Sarah didn't allow us to give our minds.
So that's the program. I want to thank you.
He has said it. Listen, people should not sell their conscience in this 2024 election.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Emeka. Thank you, Dr. Maxwell.
It's okay.
Sabesi Rabi,
No
thank you
time.
very much.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
That's the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Do have a wonderful weekend ahead. Bye-bye.